Peace and greetings, y'all. Welcome to the Chosen's Path. I am the common denominator, your host. Today, I wanted to connect with y'all to get to give y'all a little briefing on my personal life and how I even got myself in on this Chosen's Path. You see, we all have a story, right? Especially when we're talking about the initiation into spirituality before we get to even get the perception of spirit. There is that introduction, and mine so happened to be with the religious foundation. I grew up in a Christian home, and it is not to say that my people were very, very devout when it came to their religious practice, but it was something that we enjoyed. We enjoyed participating. We enjoyed going to church. We enjoyed the music, particularly the music. I personally enjoyed the music. And I really loved the stories, like the stories of Samson, the story of Samuel, the story of David, Joseph. All these great stories gave me an inside connection. I've always had this imaginative mind, so I've always been able to perceive. And these stories opened up my mind to a certain subtle reality. I never really was able to piece those stories up to some of the things that other people endure, other people have to experience, not till I got older, that I got to see that these stories actually served as examples of situations that other individuals faced in the past that we can apply to our lives to avoid certain pitfalls. But to me, it did not stop there, because I wanted to understand existence a little bit more. I wanted to understand the reality of the fabric. And I also started to identify certain missing elements within the Christian community I found myself in, right? People would go to church every Sunday. We would all read the same Bible, but then the way they would treat you and others would make you question if this word was really active, or if it was just something people did just because everybody else was doing it. So I decided I wanted to take this a little bit further. I want to investigate this a little bit further. I also realized that there were people of other denominations that still read the same Bible, but did not get along with others from other denominations. And it made me wonder, if we are all studying the same word, and the words that we are reading, we all understand English, right? And the book is written in English. We can all understand it. And the word says we should love our neighbor, not your fellow brother from the same denomination, not your fellow sister from the same denomination, but your neighbor. So if it says you should love your neighbor as you love yourself, and we all read the same book, but yet people are choosing to practice otherwise, it made me question the reality of what we are all participating in. And I'm talking about me growing up in this Christian environment. I also got to see that in the same community, we had the Muslims. And our fellow Muslim brothers and sisters were very, very devout, but at the same time, they had nothing against the Christians, but they kept away. It made me want to understand, what is it that can bring me to this inner standing of taking that which is necessary for my moral upkeep, and that would also get me to maintain balance, not just within my community, but any other community. So I started to see that a lot of individuals give themselves over to labels, but they don't practice the core fundamental of what that label represents. And I wanted to go a little bit deeper. I wanted to understand, why is it that I cannot study the Quran and not claim to be Muslim, but still get along with my fellow Muslims and my Christian brothers and sisters as well? So I took it upon myself to study religious text with the spirit of wanting to get the information that is going to balance me within myself, and for me to also coexist with others without feeling the need to want to convert them into a denomination or a religious group, but just to share my insights and share my findings from these different texts. And here we go, the common denominator. It just so happens that I made friends with Hindus as well, and I loved the stories of Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, Sarasvati, getting to see how this trickled down even into Yogananda. I love the teachings of Vivekananda, but then I also got into philosophy, and I loved the fact that philosophy questions, because that was my mind. My mind just did not want to say this is it. I wanted to question, to go a little bit deeper. So I started to see that a lot of people would just choose to settle for that which they grew up studying, that which they grew up studying to be absolute truth. And it creates this wall within their minds. If anybody else outside does not vibe with that, they consider them to be so different to the point of not wanting to associate with them. They create all of these different labels in their minds. Individuals would create these different notions of other individuals based off of how they dress. You know, the Muslims, they wear the white robes, the long robes. They pray 5 times a day, you know, and people would develop all of these different internal notions about individuals without truly getting to understand the core aspect. They don't get to understand the core intentions. They just label them. And I realized I did not want to associate myself with such. I want to know why people do what they do. Why do people practice what they practice? Why do they hold on to it? And I'm going to tell you, from this, it got me to realize the reality of man being the common denominator, and these different religions, these different spiritual texts actually serve as guides that would get man to realize that which is truly within him, so he can now live the best version of himself in any environment. I also realized that there were those who were hiding behind some of these religious beliefs, but operating in modes of what I would call ignorance or darkness. And if they identify that you have certain traits and certain elements, they would want to go against you in very, very subtle ways, sometimes very, very blatant ways as well. And if you are not truly strong in the knowing of who you are, you could easily be swayed. And I'm talking about from any denomination. Doesn't matter whether you're a Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, or whatever the case may be. There are always individuals who would take this knowledge, take this information, and seek to twist it and use it against those who are not well-learned and who are not strong within themselves. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I want to connect y'all to the reason why we even started the Chosen's Path, and the reason why I focus on the I Am presence. Because throughout all of my encounters, and I'm talking about spiritual encounters, when I've had to encounter individuals who wanted to use their religious beliefs to convert me, or to get me to see a reason to shift into their institution, the fact that I was grounded in the knowing of the I Am presence got me to shed more light on whatever situation that was, so they can even rise above the notion of feeling like one has to belong to their order to be able to experience the natural bliss that God intends for all of us to experience. And this can even go deeper than you would even expect, my dear brothers and sisters. And I'm talking about individuals in the world who would seek to divert your course, your mission. They would seek to have you associate with them, so that way that which is within you would be attributed to their belief system. It would be attributed to their congregation. And we know that the knowing of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, establishing himself, the multiplicity of it, which is all of us. The knowing of this knowledge gets you to stand on one thing, and that's God and God alone. You don't have to put anything. There should be nothing that comes in between you and the knowing of yourself as part of the divine creation. And that is why I chose to make this path, because I've had some very, very serious encounters, both spiritually and physically, with entities and individuals that were seeking to divert my mindset and have me position myself in certain orders and institutions that would benefit them. But the fact that I trusted, they say the Christ in me is the hope of my salvation. I can do all things through the Christ that is in me. This Christ is that anointing, that frequency, that energy. And by knowing this and standing on this, you don't need your preacher to tell you that every day to know. Once you heard it once, it should be established. If you heard it, you trusted it, it should be established. You don't need somebody to constantly remind you. When they say greater is that which is in you than that which is in the world, you don't need nobody else to constantly remind you for that to be established. I heard it once and it established the foundation within my mind. So with me embodying this and being able to come across individuals with high rankings who thought that they could impose, maybe they got PhDs in philosophy, or maybe they got degrees in religious studies, and they thought that maybe they could impose this upon me, so now I would convert into their organization. I realized that wasn't necessary. If the kingdom of God belongs to those with the childlike minds, that means even children can inherit and step into this knowledge without having to take years and years of studying, right? And with this, I realized people have other motives other than truly wanting others to realize themselves in God consciousness. And that's why I wanted to create this, so I can reach out to other individuals who might have grown up in Christian homes. They probably went to church, they saw the hypocrisy. They probably, got to dabble into the Nation of Islam, or maybe they got into Islam, or whatever the case may be, and they realized that something just was not adding up. These people read these books that teach love, compassion, but yet they practice otherwise. If you found yourself questioning this reality to the point where you don't even go to church anymore, you shifted away from all of that, but yet the core principle of that which we ought to manifest in our environments, which is goodness and love and kindness, you embody that, and you feel like you don't have a community of individuals that resonate with that core essence of just being a genuinely good person, you've come to the right place. The Chosen's Path, my spiritual friend in need. We are all spirit. You get to realize yourself as spirit, and you want to connect with other spirits who vibrate in the same values that you hold. They vibrate with you in the same characteristics, the same traits that you uphold within yourself. If you don't go to church every Sunday, it doesn't make you a bad person. If you're a Muslim and you don't go to the mosque, it doesn't make you a bad person. You still love Allah. You still love the fundamental teachings of loving your neighbor as you love yourself, and loving God with your heart, mind, body, and soul. You still embody that. I got to realize that there was a certain core divide, but it was just others who were seeking to serve their egos and not bring others into the unity of God consciousness, my dear brothers and sisters. And I knew I could not be alone, because I've dated individuals who've suffered under religious cults. I've dated individuals who've gone through certain things, and I learned from those. And I decided I have to create this channel, establishing a path that could connect with other individuals who feeling like they don't have other individuals that they can connect with that truly resonate and vibrate under the notion of just pure, genuine love. A friend in need truly is a friend indeed. So now here you are on the chosen's path. You're connecting with me. This video is a little bit more longer than normal, but I'm trying to get you to truly understand the foundation of why this was even established. I might have to do another video going a little bit deeper, but I just wanted you to see why this came about and how truly, if you are on a spiritual path, when I mean spiritual path, you've come to know that you are of spirit and you would like to maintain the characteristics of love, compassion. You don't feel like you have to change that because the world is getting you to feel like you are not appreciated for embodying these qualities. Welcome to this community. I do have a website that I established just so we can get to really go deeper into the spirit science, which is myspiritualfriendinneed.com. There's a forum on there. All you have to do is just create a brief little login with your password, and you should be able to connect with other individuals who resonate on the same frequency of thought. We are no longer living in times where we have to feel bound to others' modes of perception of reality, especially if it is not conducive for our own spiritual growth. So here we are at the chosen's path with the common denominator. I'm hoping that this kind of gave somebody out there who might have had a question about what is this all about? How do they even fit? You get to see that I am just one who loves that which upholds righteousness. If you are of the Islamic faith and you know that which is righteous and you uphold that and you stand up for your brothers and your sisters and you stand up for God, you are definitely welcome to the chosen's path. If you are a Christian, you love Yeshua ben Yosef, and you definitely see that you see the importance of upholding righteousness within yourself, regardless of whatever it is that's happening in the world. Welcome to the chosen's path. This is home. This is your community. If you are a Buddhist, you love the teachings of the Buddha. You know the importance of maintaining peace. You know the importance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Welcome to the chosen's path. Remember, the human fabric, so preciously made, can embody the frequencies that we ingest from reading these books. Therefore, the common denominator sits deeper even within man, but man himself is a great aspect of this common denominator that's able to embody all of this great wisdom, all of this great knowledge, and it should not create separation. It should not create division. It should get us to truly coexist with each other. My dear brothers and sisters, we're going to go ahead and cap it at that. Let's not go too deep. Please do check out the website. We do have some great advices that have been added to the website as well. If there is any type of internal struggle that you may be feeling, you are more than welcome to visit the website. You can book a free session, even if it is just that you're feeling like there is no one you can talk to. You might not have real, genuine friends. On myspiritualfriendinneed.com, you will find a community of individuals who genuinely go out of their way to make sure that other human beings on this planet feel just as welcome, because there's much more space for each and every one of us. Until next time, my dear brothers and sisters, y'all be blessed. Thank you.